Ever wondered why much of the world has been in a precipitous meltdown over the past couple of decades with no end in sight? Well, such ongoing madness with world leaders having turned into ringleaders and abetting genocides to add to the complete societal breakdown is due to the recurring spell of Oqual cycle on human civilization. Here is how such a rhythm begins with a honeymoon and ends in a cataclysmic Armageddon as it reaches crescendo once every 84 years on our shores. 1. Cooperation. On the back of an Armageddon and a global reset, the human society comes together and cooperates to rebuild their lives as birth rate reaches historic high and the economy experiences an organic boom. 2. Awakening. After strong socio-political foundations have been laid down, they soon come to be challenged by the younger generations, leading to a cultural awakening and reassessment of status quo. 3. Unraveling. The deviation of the younger generations from organic values based on justice and collectivism gives way to individualism and hedonism at the expense of the greater good of the society as unraveling gets underway. 4. Crisis. Such unraveling produces a corrupt and dysfunctional society marred by a crisis of deep socio-political divisions that are ultimately resolved through an Armageddon accompanied by a global reset. A prerequisite for breaking ties with our dysfunctional system in order to begin anew, such an Armageddon befalls humanity during the ominous decade centered on Annus Horribilis, which for the current Oqual cycle spans the decade 2023 to 2033. We are indeed in the midst of this ominous decade that is all but guaranteed to be capped by a nuclear Armageddon circa 2033, in line with the recurring spell of Oqual cycle stretching back at least a millennium. Against the backdrop of our world plunging into complete darkness, expect the 2028 and 2032 Olympics to be cancelled in an echo of the fate of the 1940 and 1944 Olympics some 84 years earlier. Still, a beautiful and prosperous world awaits those who are fortunate enough to come through unscathed in what would be a calamity of nuclear proportions that humanity will have trouble coming to terms with for generations to come. Should the future generations dare to pay heed to the recurring spell of Oqual cycle on human civilization, they could, however, avert the return of an even deadlier Armageddon in 84 years from now through living within their means, boycotting overconsumption, keeping excesses and imbalances at bay, and refraining from the exploitation and subjugation of the weak and poor. As the Oqual cycle cautions, as you sow, so shall you reap.